same thing I always think about Dogman.
Made up horse, huh?
Pretty much.
Does anyone out there have a Dogman story that can convince Christian that it exists? Tired of doing all the heavy legwork by finding these stories, only for them to be shot down by Christian's self-righteous bullshit.
Yeah, bring us a good Dogman story that is convincing. Won't happen, but I just can't get on that boat.
It's not that hard of a boat to hop on. You just be like, what, there's dog creatures? Gotcha. There's stories of dog-headed creatures from way back in the day. Is that believable?
No.
Well, there you have it. Yet nothing historical, nothing modern. The man just hates dog heads on human bodies. But that's fine, honestly. You know, it happens. Hey, people have noses. Sometimes they sniffle.
I just need to not breathe.
That's something to try. Let's give that a shot. Just cut to you in 30 seconds. Where's Chris? Oh, damn it. He's down there. He's fine.
All of a sudden we get really popular because people just like to see me pass out.
Yeah, you become so much of a villain on this show that they just like, oh, yeah, finally something bad happened to Christian. That's not very Christ-like. So don't do that.
Definitely not.
Anyway, some more military stories. These are some of the ones that didn't quite make the cut for the 3 military episodes that we put out recently. But you know me, I'm like, this is a good story. I got to share it. And so I'm like, hey, what the podcast listeners didn't get, our YouTube audience will. So this is A Ghost and a UFO, and it is by Friedel1220.
Ghost.
A Ghost and a UFO. It's 2 stories. It's not one.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, you were thinking like, oh, Ghost and a UFO. Very nice. Very nice. But
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, this one also takes place in Cadena, which, if you haven't heard, go check out our Cadena episode, which I don't know what number it is, but it's somewhere in the catalog fairly recently. Go check that out. In my housing on Cadena, my wife and I woke up after hearing something fall outside our bedroom. We assume it was our cats. That'd be a weird thing to fall outside your bedroom. But look at the cat tree, and they're both sleeping in there. I sit up to go investigate, and we both see a dark figure standing in the hallway. Blink a few times, and it's gone. Checked earthquake info to see if that's what made the noise, and there haven't been any. Usually, I discredit seeing something after just waking up to a post-stream hallucination, but the fact we both saw it was confirmation.
Shared hallucination.
That's what I was waiting for from you.
Like the guy that dreamt of his dog's food.
Dreamt of his dog's food?
Remember that?
The meat?
Yeah.
I think about that probably like twice a month. I do. I'm like, wow, what a strange story. When did we share that on a video, or was that in an episode somewhere?
I think that was an episode, because that was before we were doing videos, I think.
That was a great story. Maybe we have to put it on video like that. If I can find it, I'll try to bring it back. Multiple other strange occurrences while there, but that was the one time we saw something living in our house with us. Now for the UFO. Middle of the night on Osan, my wife and I are outside smoking. A rare cloudless night for Korea and looking at the stars. Suddenly, we see a few of them being eclipsed by something passing overhead, far enough away that we don't hear anything, and just a few at a time. Can vaguely make out the shape as it passes stars of something roughly like a large symmetrical boomerang. There are no lights on it, and only can really determine the shape by seeing which stars get blacked out. Watch it for a few minutes till it goes out of sight. I marked the time and went to work the next day. I work in a job that tracks all aircraft flying in the area by radar, IFF, 24/7. We keep recordings that can be pulled up, so my curious self pulls up a recording and watched like a hawk an hour before and after the time I noted, for anything flying over base. There was nothing that came within 30 miles of us that whole time. That kind of sounds like the, the Phoenix lights? Was that a boomerang shape?
Kind of a triangular, which is boomerang shape.
Minus one side, yeah.
Yeah, depending on the angle you're looking at it. It's funny, last night I was actually watching something. Have you ever heard of the Aurora?
I have, yeah. I've seen it several times. It's the Northern Lights, right?
No, it's a rumored spy plane made by Lockheed Martin. It was supposed to take over for the SR-71 when they retired it. And it's been rumored probably for like 20 years or so now. And it's never come out that we actually have it. But that's more of a triangular shape. But
what a weird...
But also, maybe you wouldn't see it on radar.
What's the point of having stuff if we don't show it off? You know?
We probably
Are we just waiting for like a big world war with us to be like, haha, we've had this the whole time. Are you ready?
I mean, if we do have it, it's probably obsolete by now, which is crazy. because that thing was supposed to be pretty spectacular. So something like that could have been seen over Iraq, and maybe they wouldn't see it on their radar. Or maybe it was a UFO.
Yeah, what about Korea? Could it have been seen over Korea?
Was that where the UFO part was?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize that base that he was talking about, but yeah I mean...
Yeah, I definitely recognize the base. It wasn't me just reading him say something about Korea, unless he was just eating like Korean beef or something and mentioned that. But I'm pretty sure it was Korea. Osan? I don't know. You tell me. Osan?
I don't know, man. I liked how he kind of like, well, I wouldn't chalk up just the seeing a black image when I wake up normally.
But the fact that his wife also saw it, that's where the fun stuff comes in, Christian.
I mean, maybe they both saw it because the night before they were...
Wow, here we go.
Smoking something funky.
Wow, man, you can't get 5 minutes into a video without mentioning some kind of...
paraphernalia, hallucinogen. No, I don't know what I was mentioning, but you know what I mean.
To an extent, I do know what you mean. Let's get into this next one. It is called UFO Sparks Lockdown on Base in Baghdad. That's by...
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
I won't bring
Except
up
this time in Iraq.
Yeah, I won't bring up the Aurora on this one, I don't think, but the Aurora.
Well,
or something
too late.
similar.
You actually brought it up before the story even started, so isn't that nice? Yeah, this is by AFMEC 31042. It says, I was in Baghdad circa 2009. It was about 1730. We were about to change shifts. A dust storm had passed through earlier in the day with all the dust still hanging in the air. It almost seemed overcast. A few of us were standing outside of our shop when we saw a green light floating through the air. Not too fast, not too slow, but it was probably about 125 yards from us. When it draws even with our vision, it stops moving and floats for about 5 seconds. Then it splits into 5 lights and continues on its original path. We all saw it and were confused and couldn't figure out what it was. Literally 3 minutes after we witnessed this, the alarm sounds and we are all required to don our body armor and had to lock down. We weren't allowed to leave for about 3 hours and had to wear our body armor wherever we went for the next week. We never found out what it was or why we suddenly went into lockdown. Isn't that crazy?
That one is probably not the Aurora.
Probably not. Green light that splits into 5 lights. Man, we've had a lot of those stories. And it always fascinates me because the one that actually jumps out at me, and I don't think I've shared it, but it was something I read. And I've had a couple of those now where it was a sentient entity. Like
right.
Pretty much it's like a ball of light that's moving around or whatever. But there was a couple stories where people mentioned that when it stopped, it turned into like 3, 4, 5 aliens or something like that. They were running around doing stuff. And then when they were done, zap back into one ball, fly away. Isn't that weird? Isn't that, just imagine that for a moment. Picture seeing that with your naked eyes and being like, well, what the hell am I looking at?
The way they split like that, it almost is like they're hypnotizing you in a way. They get you to watch and then they'll split up. I don't understand that. Like, are they imprinting on your brain with their little lights display in ways that you don't understand?
Watch it just be like some kind of mating ritual or something like that. And we're like, oh, how magnificent. And they're like, yeah, you like that? You like that? Yeah, I do like that, actually. I don't know. I've heard enough of those stories now, though, that I'm just so curious, but I've almost given up on finding out what the hell it actually is, you know?
If this was an ancient alien episode, I would say the lights are breaking up and splitting apart to encode our DNA with a way to evolve. What is it? The Anunnaki.
Yes, of course, the Anunnaki magic. Well, if this was an Ancient Aliens episode, I would say the production value really needs to be amped up a bit.
And I need different hair.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're talking about Christian's hair. You like that?
Why do you think those lights are splitting up?
I honestly don't know, man. Like I said, it's all just curiosity at this point for me. Like, I've heard enough of those stories and zero explanation behind them that I'm just like, I guess cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see something like that, but I don't know. What do you guys think? You tell me. That's why we do this. We don't have any of the answers. We come to you for solutions.
Makes no sense why lights would split apart like that. Or no, in a movie they would split apart and scan everybody and do something hideous to them. But
weirdo Sam, has anyone out there seen something like this? Because I've heard enough of these stories now that I am genuinely fascinated by it. But again, have zero explanation. So if you know something, or have an inkling or some kind of speculation on what this could possibly be, you should comment below.
Inside knowledge.
Inside knowledge, if you will. We have any of those people listening? Probably not. Not based on our analytics, it seems. Mainly the elderly. But it's fine. You guys can be elderly. I like old people. Christian is old people, and he's part of this show, so.
I'm not old.
Okay. Anyway, this next one's called Guam's Guardian Spirits of the Jungle.
Where does this take place?
Afghanistan. Just kidding, of course. And this is by Andrew X, 1992.
I hear Guam is a really boring base to be at.
Well,
even though the weather's nice.
Well, there's really only one way to find out, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's time to sign you up for the military.
I think I'm aged out.
Do they have a geriatric division?
They probably will soon when we go to war.
No big. We need pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
So soon after I got to Guam, we had an exercise, and I was on the night shift. Friday night after Index. Whatever that is.
We don't understand some of these.
Yeah, there's military terminology that's going to go right over my head. So fill me in. Like people had, what was it? It was one of our military episodes, actually. Do you remember when we were talking about the micro lab?
Yes.
And we were like, what's that? Microscopes? Like, I don't know. We had like multiple people tell us that it was microbiology.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yes, of course. Tiny biology. Yeah, we got like Instagram messages. We got YouTube comments. I'm like, okay, guys, we get it. We're stupid. We're stupid.
I should have reached out to Bob. He would have told me that's what it meant because that's what he did.
Hey, one more person telling us. Why not? You know?
Who the fuck is Bob?
Exactly.
Always remember that comment.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. It says Friday night after Index, we were going around the bomb dump collecting AGE and whatnot. We definitely know what that is.
AGE? Age?
Yeah, we're collecting people's age. After we finished being a bunch of dumb airmen and staff sergeants, we decided to go out to the back of the bomb dump where supposedly old base housing had been. There's an abandoned road out there that leads from the bomb dump out to Northwest Field where the Army was set up, so we walked that road in the opposite direction of the Army ECP. While we're walking, we're BSing and shining our flashlights around, and I stopped dead in my tracks. About 50 yards in front of us, off to the side, next to a tree, I see what I can only describe as a figure about 7 feet tall and long, slender arms and legs, roughly human-shaped, with a sort of animal, maybe dog-shaped head with slender snout and glowing eyes.
Dog man in Iraq.
Yes, of course, Dog Man. When my flashlight actually landed on it, it disappeared, and where I thought I had seen eyes was a couple pieces of reflective tape. The stuff they used to mark trails, construction sites, etc. Mind you, I hadn't been there long enough to hear about the local legends and spookies, but when I described what I saw to my buddy, another airman that was from Guam, a few days later, he said I basically perfectly described what their legends said, the Tatamona.
I forgot we were in Guam, but now I'm back in Guam with you.
Oh, cool. Well, welcome back. I probably mispronounced Tatamona, but that happens, turns out.
Tatamona, Kushtaka.
Kushtaka. Probably spelled it wrong. It's basically the Chamorro people's ancestral spirits that guard the jungle, looks like.
Dogman guards the jungle.
Perhaps. He says, needless to say, I never went anywhere alone at night in the bomb dump the remaining 3 years I was there, if I could help it. Ooh, spooky. What do you think, Christian?
The same thing I always think about Dogman.
Made up horse shit, huh?
Pretty much.
Ain't that something? Hey, does anyone out there have a Dogman story that can convince Christian that it exists? I'm tired of doing all the heavy legwork by finding these stories only for them to be shot down by Christian's self-righteous bullshit.
Yeah, bring us a good Dogman story that is convincing. It won't happen, but...
What can you do outside of try your hardest? And we're there for that.
I should get a shirt that says try harder whenever we talk about Dogman.
Wow. Yeah, you should do that, Christian.
I just can't get on that boat.
Why? It's not that hard of a boat to hop on. You just be like, what, there's dog creatures? Gotcha. There's stories of dog-headed creatures from way back in the day. Is that believable?
No.
Well, there you have it. You had nothing historical, nothing modern. The man just hates dog heads on human bodies. That's what it is.
It doesn't work. It's like ruining a good animal. Dogs are perfect. They don't have to be human-like.
Ugh. Okay.
Except for that one that was in the store judging me yesterday.
That had very piercing eyes.
Yeah.
Very piercing eyes. That was not fun to look at. And I wish I'd never seen it, but it can't turn it back, you know?
Was a very cute doggo. A Pomsky. Pomeranian and Husky. I don't understand how they do that. It's like, it's like the giants, the Nephilim.
There you have it. You figured it out.
Breeding with humans. It's similar. I still don't understand how it works, and I don't want to see it.
And with that, folks, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. I am receiving word that we don't actually have sponsors, so sorry about that. Won't happen again.
What was that commercial then?
Oh, this commercial right here?
No, the one that we just played.
That's what I did when I said this commercial right here. Aha, gotcha. We're back. Yeah, you thought you could get away from the ads, huh? Well, you did, because you skipped them. You like an asshole. It's fine. This next story is called The Roaming Might Wist. Definitely got that wrong. The Roaming White Mist of Lackland Air Force Base. I had to look at that, make sure it was an A. It's really hard to read from 6 feet away on an iPad.
Isn't it Lackland where we kept our B2s or B1s?
I never had B2s or B1s, so I haven't kept them anywhere. That's fine. And this is from Mrs. Cat Lady 25, a very reputable source.
They do. Cat ladies tend to observe the world around them a lot, though.
As do cats. Shout out cats.
Cats are demons. What does it make cat ladies? Demon feeders.
Okay. Security Forces Tech School, Lackland Air Force Base, and F-Bay, Building 1175, August 2012 time frame. I worked CQ, or checking IDs, at the front desk prior to starting SF training. That's San Francisco. Due to an injury, people are going to be, I can hear people hate typing on the keyboard right now. It's fine.
He was kidding.
I believe that's probably Special Forces, I'd imagine. Are you happy now? Did I guess it? Or are you going to correct me again? God, Jesus, you just can't win with these people. So I was already familiar with the buildings being haunted. I had quite a few experiences there before eventually living in the building. While working, I would hear what sounded like a group of people talking upstairs while everyone was in class. When I would walk up there, it would be empty. This happened 3 times. Scariest was working at a 12-hour night shift. The building was empty except for the 3rd floor. It was my friend C and I at the front desk. I decided I was going to walk down one of the empty hallways to look around. I had an overwhelming feeling of being watched. Halfway down the hall, C called me to come to the lobby. And as I got back to the lobby, it sounded like a box with items fell from the hall I just came from, which is impossible because the rooms were completely empty beside the furniture. I freaked out and we turned to the hall and a white mist shot out of the hall and up the ceiling. I decided to take a photo of the hall and captured a white figure in the door frame. Right after I caught this on photo, no longer have the photo. Classic. Oopsie. Oops-a-daisy. Lost it. It's okay. I have ghost photos that I no longer own too. It happens.
I don't understand how. If I had a ghost photo, even though I wouldn't believe in it, I would keep it in a safe place.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about technology and how it advances and how we constantly get new phones and you go from flip phone or bricks to flip phones to smartphones. Transferring all that crap over all the time can be a little difficult. And if this is 12 years ago now.
But it's a supposed ghost.
A supposed ghost, of course. Yes.
That seems like it'd be something you might want to keep.
That is something you might want to keep. Hang on to your ghost photos, folks. Sell them on eBay or something.
Send them to us.
Anyway. Our friends from G-Bake called and said they saw a male figure of a T.I., that's a rapper from back in the day, with the hat in the door frame and asked us if someone came by. No one was there.
What kind of hat? We need details.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
This is a hat man
There's
sighting.
clearly not a photo for us to look at. You got to give us the deets. Hit us with those funky, fresh deets, you know? Another one, when I was finally in training, I ended up living in this building. We lived on the bottom floor of F Bay, left hallway as you enter in the female bay. My roommate and her friend came by to talk to me about ghosts. Man, these are the friends I need in my life. Just someone's like, hey, I just swung by to talk to you about ghosts. You down? Yeah, dude, I'm down. I'm so down. So down. P had the idea to record on her phone and ask if any ghosts wanted to talk to us. In a male's voice, no males are allowed in the female bays, clearly. It said my last name, I was terrified. Right as we listened to the voice, my roommate's clothes fell out of the wall locker. I was thinking something else was taking place. I was like, oh, yeah.
It's kind of
my roommate's clothes fell off when we heard that male voice. Oopsie. Oopsie, I've been exposed. Sorry, folks. Christian's a pervert.
Why?
Which we had been in the room for over an hour at this point, never touching or going near the clothes. After we heard the voice on multiple occasions in our room, we felt a presence. We witnessed on 2 occasions our chairs slide out from under the desk, my reflective belt flying into the middle of the floor, and I got woken up by a white flash in front of my face. We heard stories of a girl who went crazy in F-Bay. There was a corkboard with creepy drawings hung up in the room that the rumors claimed were hers. Stories of someone falling from the 2nd floor and possibly dying. I don't know, but I never felt comfortable in the dorms there. Yes, of course, dorm magic. Pretty spooky. Pretty spooky.
Things falling out. Typical ghost story.
I could hear like 5,000 mouth pops from dry mouth when I was reading that story. I had to wet my whistle. What do you think, Christian?
It's fascinating, I think, when these types of hauntings happen because there's always a history there, and or a rumored history of what happened. It sounds like what's going on.
There's a ghost in the room, clearly.
Yeah, I believe
we did it. All it took was something off camera dropping twice that I'm blaming Christian for,
and we don't have a picture of it.
Well, good thing we were both here to witness it.
Oh, it's real then.
Because our memories were moments ago when it happened.
I already forgot.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
I don't know, man. I don't know about this one.
Like you don't believe it, or?
I mean, it's the normal type of story you hear in a haunting, but
which makes it a little more believable, no?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to explain why things just fall or chairs come out from under desk. I don't know about that.
Hey, when I was setting things up, I had a bit of a scare myself. You know me. I'll jump at just about anything. So I was sitting there setting up the audio, and the flag behind you, one of the sound panels must have given way or something. And it's just like this weird, like, noise that came over. I was like, oh, Jesus. And I look over. I'm like, oh, it's just the flag. Just the flag.
A red flag.
But it's not. But who knows? Honestly, could it have been a ghost that knocked that flag over? You bet. Bet your sweet ass it could have been a ghost. And actually, maybe it was.
It was a demon.
Even better for this show, of course. Well, that's pretty much all I got, Christian. I don't know. Is there, you have this weird, do you just like jump back and forth between, like what makes a story unbelievable for you as opposed to something you're like, I could see this, you know, because I feel like the ones that are like this, it feels like pretty cut and dry, nothing overtly spooky about it. So it doesn't seem far-fetched of a thing to take place, but you're just like, no.
I think sometimes I like the stories that just have more to it. Like if it's gonna be like some kind of haunted story, I like it more outside, old battlefields, things like that.
Wow.
I don't know.
So you're just saying personal. You're not saying that didn't happen. You're like, personal preference, I would have preferred if it was outdoors.
Yeah, I like the more ancient stories, and sometimes in buildings, stories. I'm like,
and buildings, like, oh, this is too boring. Give me a tree or something, damn it. Well, actually, last story had a tree in it.
Yeah.
And you had nothing to do with that either because it was a dog man. Christian, we just can't win with you, damn it.
Give me a hunter-gatherer ghost. That would be fascinating.
Actually, I think there was one of those. No, it might have been a World War I. Those Native American, I think, in a field.
Yeah, those were always fun. Sometimes, maybe it's all the ghost hunting shows that have kind of taken some of the hauntings of actual buildings.
I mean, that does happen.
Out of it. The buildings creaking and they're running around screaming with bad photography. I'm like,
sure, why not?
Jaded.
You're jaded. How many ghost hunting shows are you watching?
None.
Well, then that should be out of your mind, man.
But they pop into my feed because of the stuff I look into.
That's not
for
fun.
The pod.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, we talked about it recently, how cringeworthy a lot of those are, too. We're just like, ugh.
Give me some more Dogman.
Wow, Dogman.
It's not true. Sometimes I say that one I just say because I know some people like Dogman. I'm sorry to pick on you guys.
Yeah, you've been catching a lot of heat lately, Christian. been catching a lot of heat lately.
I don't know why. I'm just over here.
There was, I forget what one it was. It was someone on one of our podcast episodes. It comes out every Thursday, wherever you get your spooky ghost podcasts. As on Spotify, you can ask a question that people can answer at the end of the episode or whatever. And one of them was, I think it was recent, within the last couple of weeks or something like that. It was saying my least favorite part of the show is Christian. And I was like, huh. I said something about him not liking self-righteous assholes that don't think they're ever wrong or something like that. And I was like, as accurate as that is, also, you're on the show. You're part of the show. You're like, it's not like you're a guest or something like that. You're here every single episode. So when people, it always amuses me when people are like, I can't stand Christian. I'm like, why are you still watching the show then? Because he's the other half, Yeah. It's not like we can just dump him. Though I have reached out to several other people to fill the host spot, but still waiting on those the replies,
Good thing we're in Alaska.
Yeah, so I don't know. If you don't like Christian,
Sorry, man. It's funny, self-righteous. I don't know if it's funny.
You are a little bit.
People get really offended when you just don't agree with them.
Yeah, I've noticed that is a key trend. And that was the whole thing when we started the show. We're like, hey, the idea is dueling opinions. So you can not agree with the opinion, but you should, at the very least, respect the person that has the opinion. If you can't do that, then this probably isn't the show for you. But at the same time, I kind of get what you're saying. You know what I mean?
It doesn't bother
4
me.
years of this shit. 4 years.
It doesn't bother me.
I know. We need to make you a villain. We really need to make you a villain because then the show will blow up. Just inundated with a million comments about I can't stand Christian.
I feel like there's a few people, maybe yourself included, that are trying to push that villainy.
That doesn't sound like me at all, does it? Pulling the strings from behind the curtain, dance puppet type stuff? I don't know. Could be. Is it?